morning. We'll open the meeting with public comment. Is there any public comment? I do have a letter I received from, in an email form from Earl and Cheryl Campbell. Commissioner Delger, first I have a medical appointment I can't change or I would be at the next Commissioners meeting January 6, 2020. Second, as a citizen of Broadwater County, I'm requesting you not nominate nor vote for Commissioner Obert to be the chairman of the Broadwater Commission for the calendar year 2020. There has been no further information forthcoming from either the Gallatin County Attorney M. Lambert or Broadwater County Attorney Corey Swanson. So I am left to assume the referral for office for official misconduct that has been lodged against Mrs. Obert to be unresolved. Official misconduct in Montana is a felony, and I don't want a chairman in control of the meetings that is under the investigation for that charge. Electing her as chairman would be gross disservice to the citizens of this county. I request you read this into the minutes, and I further request your very careful and thoughtful consideration to your action will be appreciated. Sincerely, Cheryl Campbell. At 10 o'clock, elect presiding officer, vice chair, adopt public policy, process policy, commission meeting agendas, open meeting policy, accept petition to create the TED utility position. That is there open up the nomination for the presiding officer for 2020.
You've done it for 2 years in a row. You want to continue on?
If no one else wants to, I will.
I'm going to leave that up to you.
One thing I will bring up is there is a rotation. You guys can vote however you want, but there is a rotation, and it works in counties in 2 different ways. One is every commissioner serves as chair either their 3rd and 6th years or their 5th and 6th years. Getting into that kind of a rotation, it kind of makes everybody, puts everybody knowing what to expect. We got off rotation, and that's how Mike ended up with 2 years. Not either his 3rd and 6th or 5th and 6th.
Yes, Tim?
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, just a real quick question. Thank you, Commissioner Obert, on bringing that up on the rotation. My question is that under statute or is that a policy that's adopted by MACO counties, et cetera, et cetera?
I think it's just a policy that was adopted by the county, whether it is or not, I don't know.
It's recommended by MACO and then adopted by the counties. I don't know that it's in the MCA.
Okay, that's what I just wanted, because I did not have a chance to look into that for sure, but that's a question that are being asked. Thank you.
I guess with that, I would nominate Commissioner Obert for the chair, simply for a number of reasons. Number one, it's the rotation. I think that rotation is important. The other part is we got out of the rotation when I came on, and the person who was serving for the chair was not exactly the ideal person to follow as far as rules and regulations of running a meeting or how meetings were conducted. Unfortunately, that's kind of the way that I have followed in some processes with the way I run meetings. I wouldn't say that I've done a bad job, but I don't think that I've done an extremely good job. And I think that to be fair to the commission that's coming on, or the commissioners that are here, is to have an example that's a little more probably restrained in the way that I run meetings, probably a little more aligned with Robert's Rule of Orders, and that's pretty much my reason for nominating Commissioner Obert. Is there a second?
you have a comment, Tim?
I don't want to be out of order, Mr. Chair, I just want to ask the question again, if I may, but I can wait. Up to you.
Go ahead, Tim.
Okay, I'm, again, this is very important as we move forward. As a citizen, been following Broadwater County for many years, many cycles of these seats being filled. We have had that issue of open meeting debate. We have had that issue of exceeding the authority. It's gone to court. We've got that locked in on the people demanding a transparent, accountable local government. I'm not here to look at beating on anybody. I'm not here to look for a fight. I'm looking at to expand on what you have done, Commissioner Delger, in opening this up to transparency in a more relaxed atmosphere where the people can feel comfortable and the public trust is not violated. That's where we have gotten to in over many years of decline, and I'm hoping that we can continue moving forward with that. Commissioner Delger, I compliment you in going back to the community that we have really been brought up in here in Broadwater County. We are neighbors and we want to work together, and you've really gone a long ways with going forward with that. The letter that was read during Commission open public comment this morning certainly does have merit to be considered. Again, we have a court case that was decided. We have an Attorney General case that's been rendered. We have now a pending, who knows, it may not be nothing, but we need to be careful not to be making the same mistakes over and over. That's the definition of insanity, and I hope that we do not go there. My last part of this, on this, and I will go sit down and be quiet as a citizen, are nominations open to the public? If they are, that also should be considered in this process. In my experience, I've never seen that happen, but I think it is part of the Roberts rules of affording the public participation, which comes back to Article 2, Sections 8 and 9. So if you would, Mr. Chair, please keep that into consideration, and Commissioner Delger and Mr. Holford, please keep that in mind as you move forward. Even though, and I will end here, even though Commissioner Fulford is new on the board, doesn't have the tenure, if you will, experience, that man has done more of doing 1/3 of the job on this commission than I've seen in a long time, stepping up to the plate to take that responsibility, and I commend you, Mr. Fulford. Therefore, with that said, if possible, as a citizen, I would nominate Commissioner Fulford to run this show into the 2020 cycle.
Thank you. Is there any other comments?
Can that question be answered about public nominations?
I haven't. Not since I've been here, it hasn't been considered at all.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
The statute, and I don't know that I can find it in the next few minutes, but it does state that and it's in our New Year's resolution handout, if either of you have that, but it does state that the commission shall
I think so.
determine a presiding
Just
officer.
from the board itself, right?
Yeah.
I remember right, I read that.
Yep.
This is the commissioner's board, it's not a public board.
Yeah.
It has public, people are welcome to come and make their statement, but it is your meeting and your board.
We can find that, but I don't know that I will find it in the next couple minutes. Yeah, you can find it, share it after, but that's what it is. It does say that's what practice has been as well. As far as accusations go, I'm not going to address any of those, but I will say that when anybody is accused of anything, they are innocent until proven guilty. None of that has happened. So, Darrell, I would like to hear if you're going to second Mike's nomination and motion.
Thanks, Tim, for putting all that pressure on me. You know, I feel that there would be no problem with you being chairman of the board. I really don't. I guess my only concern that I need to think about is if it's going to invite more controversy on us than we've had in the past.
So is that a second then?
I mean, I would have preferred it to have another year under my belt to tackle something like this, and maybe that's the best thing for me to do, is to gain that experience. So. I'll second that nomination.
The motion's been made and seconded to approve Commissioner Obert as the new chair. I would like to make one comment here. Being stuck in the same position that Darrell is in right now, when I first came on as chair, was I think it's overrated what the chair, you know, the power of the commission is not the chair, the power of the commission is the commission. The chair has certain rights and responsibilities, but it doesn't outweigh or override the position of the other two commissioners. And I think that it would be very beneficial to the county in the future, and also beneficial to Darrell to maybe have that example of a stricter procedural person. So maybe when it does become his turn, then he has the experience of both the loose rein that I've probably had and also a stricter, more procedural person, so you can settle somewhere in the middle instead of starting out with a wide range of disruptiveness and then continuing in a mediocre fashion the same way. So I think it's a much better idea for the county. And also, I think it will be a benefit to Commissioner Folkford. With that being said, we'll have a vote. Yes, Wendy?
Before you get too carried away, you know, I can appreciate exactly what you're saying. I think that in government, in local government right now, we find ourselves in positions that are uncomfortable. Being the chair, you know, I'm the vice president of several organizations, I'm president of one, chairman of others. I can understand that. You made a very unique point in your statement, though, Mike, and that was that the power does not fall within the chair. The power does not fall within one commissioner. It's a board. It's the entire board of county commissioners that has the authority to make change. However, I'm going to ask this. As we start 2020 and we move into a new decade and a new time in our lives, that is exactly what happens. Because what I have seen is that there's decisions being made within county government made by one person and not the entire board. So before you get too overzealous about that, about making a vote, let's make sure that that's the statute that we're going to go down. That's a path that we're going to walk. If we're going to put the power of the board, then keep the power of the board and stop letting one person make decisions. Because that has happened entirely too often. And I think that, Darrell, with the look on your face, you understand exactly what I'm saying. Okay? So it's all good and dandy to say that in the presence of folks in a public meeting, but this is where we put the rubber to the road. And we put our money where our mouth is. If we're gonna make it a board, and the board's gonna make a decision, then the entire board makes a decision, not just one. Is that a fair request? As an elected official in this county, I would expect that. And I'm tired of getting things done that's been one-sided, you know? Because there's times where I've had conversations with you, you didn't know what the hell I was even talking about, nor did Daryl or what have you. So if it's gonna be the board making decisions, then that's the way that it needs to be done, not just one. And if that can't happen, then I would ask that you not go down that path that you're on. That's all I have to say.
Tim?
I apologize, Mr. Chair, Commissioners, I said I was done, but I do have to add one more point here, if you will indulge me for just another second. I brought up the fact that we do have on record in not only court, but with the Attorney General. This is not speculation, and this is not a potential, maybe, could be, who knows. I'm speaking directly of that. Number two, it was just made a comment a couple of minutes ago that this is your board and that you make these decisions, and that in, maybe not in direct language, but what I personally heard was that this is not a public board. I caught all BS on that, because this is an executive branch of our local government under the Constitution in the state of Montana, a subdivision of the state, working for the people. It is totally 100% public board, and so therefore, if you're using policy to eliminate the public from a process, a decision-making process, that, I guess I can go ahead and say it again, is a direct violation of Article 2, Sections 8 and 9. With that, I will echo our sheriff's concerns to make sure that we don't go down the same path and we just gotta move forward. And I'm, like you folks, I'm really tired of it. And I'm hoping that we can continue moving forward, as I said a few minutes ago, and that's up to you guys to make sure that we don't go down that path and not go backwards. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I do have the MCA, so I'll go ahead and read that. It's MCA 74-2109, presiding officer report. The Board of County Commissioners must elect one of its members presiding officer. The presiding officer shall preside at all meetings of the board, and in case of the presiding officer's absence or inability to act, the members present shall select one of their number to act temporarily as presiding officer.
Thank you, Commissioner.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that number on the statute again, please? I didn't get a chance, right?
7/5/2109.
Pardon?
7/5/2109.
Actually, it's 7/4/2109.
Was it 7/4?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Any further discussion or comments? Vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say. Motion carries.